One of my favourite podcasts, Fated Mates, talked about an author who wrote her backlist or something similar to that in a year, and I looked it up, and that's like 7 books, all written in 7 weeks. And my stupid ass was like, that sounds like a fun challenge, because I have not learned anything from any of my previous fun challenges. And here we are. For the introduction video, I will have told you about several ideas that I had written down that I was planning to kind of sort out. And then I had 2 ideas today, and I thought those are actually really good, and we're going to go with one of those 2. So if you did think any of those were interesting, please let me know. I will definitely be taking that into consideration as we go forward, but we're not actually going to do any writing today, which is kind of scary. But if you've been following along, I have 5 reviews to go up in January. I did not finish Project 2024, so I have to dedicate the first week here to trying to do that, which means we can't really start Project 25. So, fun challenges. So as I was midnight snacking, I had a bit of a panic. Back when I had this harebrained scheme, I went and looked up how many weeks there are. There was some leeway, great. For some reason, I just panicked today, and 52 weeks-ish in a year. For some reason, I did some calculations with a calculator even, and I got 52.142, and I thought, oh, I don't have a leeway, so that means I have to do this novella in 6 weeks, and I have to cut out time for another one as well. I don't know why. I know my 7 times tables. It just did not land. But here are some calculations that is much better, and it gives me 21 days of leeway. So I know that I said I wasn't gonna write yesterday, and then I did. It's a little bit hard to delineate. We were watching MasterChef Australia, and it wasn't on. We're not Australian. So that ended around midnight, but it was all in one session, so I'm going to count it as yesterday's word count. I got to 376, which is pretty good. I do wish, perhaps, that Dylan, upon meeting someone, did not immediately turn into a bigot, but while we are very much not in favour of the Hays Code, I think it's going to work out well. He's got hell to come, so now you might be wondering what the fuck this is, and why I kind of think it's so funny this guy is a bigot. That's because it was inspired by The Repair Shop, which is a very sweet, very wholesome show. It's people I think last night's episode was a woman's late husband had this teddy bear from when he was a wee boy, and they wanted it repaired, and it was really emotional and sweet. And I think someone else brought in a gun, not repaired well enough to be used, but it set off something in my brain of like, but what if there was a repair shop for like assassin families and crime lords, and what would happen there if someone brought in a gun and it was fixed? I'm going to be honest, when I got the idea, it initially wasn't Dylan. I think it was a female protagonist. But then I sat down and started typing, and immediately it was Dylan. Which is... This is why I don't like outlining. Nothing goes to plan. It just grabs me and takes me in the direction that it wants to. That being said, I am really looking forward to keeping going, because I had him see something in the shop and I thought, that's fantastic. And Ellipsis has only just recently, just last year, let you start changing the colour of the font, which is an update I was waiting for, and I'm delighted by. And yeah, so I've outlined that in red, and we'll see if anything comes of it. I would love to have like hints of characters to come in that way. I just think that would be neat. Good night. So it's almost 11 and I'm finally sitting up because it's been one of those days. Not the chronic fatigue for once. My back just decided to give out on me. Last night was just... it was bad. Dylan was a great choice, but where the words went last night was just... it was not it. I only got about 100 words in, I think. But I knew almost immediately, with like the first full paragraph that I wrote, that this was bad. This wasn't going to work out. But I think that location is one that might come up later and might be really good later. And so I wanted to lay it out and just have a sense of how it looks. It's been struck through. I'm going to go back to what the original idea was of just like, this is a former barn which has been kind of had a front office kind of built onto the side, because we're going to see a secretary, and this works better than like the underground basement bunker idea. Also, just thank you for bearing with like the first day or two's weirdness. Usually when I'm filming like a writing vlog, I feel like I need to be a little bit more careful about what I share, but with how 7 and 7 works, you're not going to see this until the book is either out or about to go out. So we're fine on that front. And I can be as... well, not spoilerific. I'm not gonna... I still want you to feel like you're getting something out of reading it that you're not going to get from watching this. But yeah, I can be a bit more open with it, and that's a nice feeling. You should have seen my face yesterday when I just realised, oh, making this about like an antique gun means that you need to actually learn about antique guns, which I'm not looking forward to. This is not an area of history that interests me at all. Also, we are less than 1,000 words in all, which is fine. I don't mind going slow at the moment because there's still time to pick up, but overall, a little bit concerning. Nothing written today either, because it has been mostly a bed day again, because my back is broken. Not like physically broken, but like shit's fucked. So we made the most progress last night, but what's that thing, like 10% horror, 90% comedy, and 90% comedy, 10% horror is like a balance. I think I've made it too emotional. So while I'm waiting for my food to cool, I thought I would update you. And that there's nothing really to update. I haven't been working on it, but the good news is I have 2 books to read out of the 5 that I have to review this month. So we're making good progress in that. I had a look at Unsplash, where you can get free images. I also have an account you can get free images from me. I hate the search function. I have always hated the search function. If you put in like flat cap, you will get results for flat and you will get results for cap. And it makes it really hard to find what you're looking for. Yeah. Like I don't know why you would show me crushed macarons otherwise, except it's like the camera was directly over it, so it's kind of like a flat, it's laying out flat, you know, and it's like that's not what I'm looking for. The ISBNs are going to be so annoying, aren't they? You would think that a storm would be like a great time to get some writing done, and you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. I did start writing again from the 23rd. I did not successfully stop Dad from running out into red weather warning winds, but he has not been decapitated, so I consider that a success. Speaking of, we have not had a decapitation yet, although one head is now significantly less intact. Where we are at currently is he thought he would get this fixed and he would just walk in and blow everyone away. Is that snow? Ooh. Oh, it's snow. We are currently at 7 sections, none of which are terribly fleshed out, and none of which are in order. I think we can also, at this point, cut the one that I thought was too emotional, because thankfully I don't think that fits anymore. We can still like have the thing that happen, but hopefully in a way that if we do need it, is more in tune with like the vibes. We are just over 3,000 words as well, and I need to get to 8,000 to 10,000 before the end of the month. Honestly, probably 15,000 would be better, but I'm absolutely not holding my breath for that. I did have a little bit of a play around in Canva. I don't know all the rules. This was not something it's not a template that I needed to pay for, but so I kind of played around with a cover, by which I mean like I just changed the text on it, and I really like it for a book cover for this. I feel a little bad that the template was for a prayer book, but it's kind of like winey red with this kind of ornate design on the top and the bottom. Same design, kind of like that reminded me a little bit of like lace, or I don't know, like which some kind of decoration, I guess. And it just felt very evocative to me of like grand houses, and I thought that fits. socioeconomically and also class-wise. But as you can probably tell from the everything, I am really suffering. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And it just kind of feels like the body is forcing a stop. So the plan today had been to get up a book group, write 1,000 words, and then do the same again in the evening. And then I fell asleep in the afternoon. So we have, it's 9:30, 2.5 hours to get 2,000 words done. We are still barely over 3,000. Also, I know I shouldn't, but we're just going to be playing the second Keep My Eye on the Chamber Door playlist. I know it says Maze Flowers. It is Keep My Eye on the Chamber Door Part 2. Yeah, not the most upbeat, which Guns A Go-Go is a lot more upbeat. Okay, no, and I know this is more faffing around, but we're going to go with the Shooting Star playlist, because much better thematically. I'm so upset that Dream of You is not available. It might just be this version. They might have uploaded another version of the same album, but I can't be asked, fixing your fuck-ups. But we've got the rest. And while there's a few that are kind of more down-tempo than what I want, it fits the mood much, much better. On a metric of pure upbeatness, I would say This Hell and Apata are the two that fit the mood of what I want. So that is just over an hour's work. It is not great, also just not a great time for Craig. I do have like a third part for him, but I think I really need to, while the thing is still in mind, make Dylan lose his car.
I knew what a sloth as an animal was, but never knew what sloth.
The 7 Days of Fun stuff.
So I haven't gotten much farther than 5,000 words, but I have imposed like a deadline of on the 10th we need to timeline it, which means I need to take the little fragments that I've written and put them in chronological order. And I think after that, while I can still add new things to it, I want to have a full draft done by the 15th, which means it needs to be finished on the 19th, I think. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is the 19th the last day for it? Or is it like it's done by the 19th? I know this probably makes me sound like a complete idiot, and this video is going up anyway long after, but like 19th is the last day I've got, right? Guess you went back to fiddle with the cover design last night. Sure. I forgot to put my name on it, and now I'm just staring at it like I kind of hate this now. It's not bad, it's just I don't know where to put it. And I think it kind of, I know it's not, but I look at it and I'm like, that is one element that is not necessary, which is not true, but I look at it and it's kind of ruining the composition, and I just don't like it.
Okay, so we're going to go up to Tony Mann at Export Fresh. He does amazing herbs. He often has his little pea-shoots, which will be perfect.
A note of the time and date, because 15th is the last day for working on draft 2 and also the first day for working on the final draft. I have done nothing but timeline the fragments, and I haven't even finished that because other things have come up and exhaustion has hit. We are going to try and get some writing done, but the problem with Ellipsis is that it is a browser. It isn't like a software that you download. And we have just switched Wi-Fi, and it is not for the better. So how much this works, if it works, it might. I don't have the highest of hopes. Okay, I think that I've got it. From 1 to 6, and these aren't chapters, these are just to give me a sense of order. I need to fill things out in between. Those ones I'm pretty confident about. From The Whale Made Dylan Shudder to The Door Slammed, I am not at all confident in the ordering of that whatsoever. And even though I'm saying that Christian opened the door, surprised to find his cousin on the other side, is not like the actual thing that's going to go in there, that it's going to be a read alike. I still don't know if I'm doing the right thing with that. But I will say, absolute saving grace of the ordering. The house was the nicest thing. The house was the nicest that he'd stopped at all day. Pain greeted Craig as he opened his bleary eyes to the sight of a figure looming over him, shards of glass. Perfect. Mini arc, all its own. It is the only thing that's giving anything near the end any cohesion whatsoever. Honestly, arguably, this is pretty bad as well, in the sense that it might just come too late in the narrative to really give it the cohesion that it needs. So I might do something. I might introduce that sooner, before the read alike for Christian. But Shards of Glass is the end. It is exactly where this needs to stop. The phone dangled loosely from her fingers, which is the last one right here. It says remove, but it was never intended to be in the actual book. That was just, I needed to write down what the reaction to the call was, just to have that kind of solidified in my own head. I needed to know how that was going to go. I don't know about starting to write this tonight, and I know that's an absolutely terrible thing to say, especially with how close everything is getting to like the end. But I think I think I need to just sit with this, with Christian and Craig, and try and work out what I want to do with that, because the idea of opportunism is one that I really like. That we see Dylan do this absolutely dumbass thing that he hasn't thought through, and that he is so overconfident in, is one thing, but it needs structure, and I think that could really give it structure. I just that would leave me the 14th and the 15th. but that's not 2 full days. So I don't know. So I had this little kind of conversation with myself about what to do. Please ignore the what hole. I don't know, that was clearly going to be something, and it's clearly not now. And now I've just gone through these little. They do this because you can't put comments in the main document. I don't know, but that's how it goes. And I've underlined all of the bits in here in this document. So I am actually going to start. Oh my god, it's just a lot, guys. So update: I wrote 84 words of draft 2 yesterday in total. It is past 7 o'clock at night, so we have not long for the rest of it. Like I said, I can write a little bit on the 5th, but really we want to be starting on draft 3 by then. It's actually one of those times where I look at this and, well, I can't really look at this. It's better to just kind of have an idea rather than to write from the previous draft, which is quite annoying, actually.
I think it's tribe.
Chelsea?
I'm not sure, some kind of fish.
Elisa, come on, you must know.
Well, we're filming this at like 7 o'clock at night instead of in the morning, so I think you can tell how today has gone. I got to 1,439 words in draft 2 yesterday, and part of that was there is a section that's pretty much clear and good that I did not need to work on, and so that was just great copy and paste. I don't know whether to work on draft 2, continue to work on that tonight. That is kind of what I'm leaning towards, and just don't start the final draft until tomorrow. I think it's more that I'm concerned about the holes in the plotting and the timeline that I need to fill in, and I think I really need to do draft 2 for that, which it gives me less and less time for draft 3, but I think this is how it has to be, because I can't be messing around with this on the last day. And to be fair, I don't think I can be messing around with anything on the last day, because it is I do not have time for that. But for today, what I'm going to work on right now is Marjorie's section, which I really, really love, and is like my favourite out of all of them, purely because it's in her voice, and her voice is fantastic. Completely unrelated, but I really need to play crotchety old women more in D&D, because what a great time.
You soap it yourself. That will guarantee tenderness. Top tip number 2, with the pasta dough.
So we've got 2,222 more words into this draft last night. I think that's the most in a single night, which is good, not good enough. I did move things around. Marjorie's chapter is second and before this one, where Dylan is in the car. We had his uncle in conversation, and I do really like that shift. And this is a new chapter, a wholly new chapter. I am a little bit concerned in the vein of, it does feel like the opportunist should be taken out by the opportunists, because there's a really lovely symmetry in that, but no. However, I can't just do this. I can't just give Marjorie a second chapter if I'm doing that. We need another confrontation with the opportunists, or else this is just a diversion that goes nowhere. which on one hand, that's great. It beefs out the chapters. It gets it closer to the novelette than the short story, which is what I want. I am just really concerned with that looming deadline, and also the lack of sleep, which is not helping to make coherent changes. I think it's fine, but I do think if we keep this up, it's going to stop being fine. It only took until after 6 in the morning, but we are 800 words in. I'm not going to get to 1,000, but that's fine because I said there were going to be 2 sessions of this today. And we've gotten through a few different parts. Again, not quite as fleshed out as I want some of them to be, but again, this, fingers crossed, is only draft 2. If I opened my mouth and I started screaming, I swear you'd still hear me in 2035. I did not finish. I don't know if I go over 1,000 words. I know what's happening, and I think I can make it work, but that's still not. I don't want to put this out having just done 2 drafts. The opportunists are here, and I think I have a chance to. One of the objects that I marked in the repair shop, I do think I have the possibility of like pulling one of those in and being like, this is someone and this is an interaction that you need to pay attention to. But like, part of what made me want to write this was because it was so fun of an idea, and it has been, but now that we are in the not so fun parts, I'm really worried about whether I can imbue the text with that. It's a lot looser, and I wouldn't necessarily say comedic than what I'm used to writing. And I mean, that was part of the fun of it, but it's so different to everything else that I've written, stylistically, genre. I don't know if I want this to be the first book that I put out under this name. I don't want this to be the first book I put out under this name. But we don't have time. We don't have time to change it. We barely have time to finish it. So I watched the Trash Theory video this morning, and it really is like, I think they said over 3 years the band went through 8 producers in 9 studios, cost the label £1 million, and didn't have an album to show for it. And I think I really needed to watch that because it's calmed me down a little bit from my last clip. So this is kind of what I mean by like copy and pasting, because obviously like the nurse is a different person now, but the day was proving to be an exercise in misery really worked, so you can just carry that over. So I think for me, really, one of my bigger concerns, and you could say that this should probably be like a 3rd draft thing, but I need like a level of consistency with it all the way through. And again, don't know how that's going to turn out. I need the voices to be pretty obvious. Marjorie's actually the hardest, which I wasn't expecting because I thought it was really. She was really easy to write the first time around, but it was very distinct in a way that is hard to replicate the second time around. Whereas Dylan's is just, what were my notes for him? Lots of that, lots of this, like sentence lengtheners, and then for Craig, a lack of that or this, shorter sentences, but also I don't quite know the conjugation, I guess. No, that's not the right word. So like Craig will there has to be an example here. There has to be. Like smashing into the glass, like sentence fragments, which Dylan would never do. This is during the day. I did a lot of staying up during the night to write, and then a nap, and now I'm writing again, and I'm going to take another nap before dinner. But these are my progression notes. We've introduced Craig. We're at the hospital. I think I got a little bit too tired because the men who were at the Lion Estate or holiday home or whatever the hell it is, that kind of intersects with Craig's section. Chronologically, we only have 11 and 12 left, but I can't do that. We need a little bit more to tie things up. News development. The mum is a character, and I like this bit because I like that everybody knows what an idiot Dylan is. But it's also a little bit, yeah, I don't know. There's something about this that isn't quite sitting right, that I don't think is working out quite. Isn't fitting in to like the overall story the way I wanted it to. I don't know. Also, we crossed 6,000 words, and I'm so happy about that. If you too have been getting up, writing, and then falling asleep, and then getting up and writing, might I suggest that you ask yourself if you've eaten at all? So I had to lie down for a second there, but I did keep writing. It is actually really hard if you turn the keyboard like vertical. I just keep hitting the wrong keys, and it slows me down so much, but I did keep writing. And we're almost at 7,000 words. Because of the changes that I made, Craig and Dylan have to meet in another way. It was supposed to be pain greeted Craig as he opened his bleary eyes to the sight of a figure looming over him, but then I thought, no, because we do actually have to have you two meet. And we have to actually see that, or else it's not going to work. But also we need to actually see what happens at his mum's house, which is a prospect that really annoys me. So the whole idea of this would be like a really cool action movie thing, and you could play on that. I talk so much about medium matters. What you do in film you can't do in books. And then I fell into the fucking trap myself. Like a chump. But that realization is also why this isn't working. Because we have too many chapters of people just talking. This if the comparison is an action movie, we need more action. And I think we need more action and we need to get funny with it. I can write action. Sometimes I struggle to like maintain voice when I'm writing action. I don't think that's been too bad so far, but it can be a problem. Getting funny with it, however, is something that I just don't really know how to do. To be fair, I am a lot better at it because I am a shit roller at D&D, and so I have like a million examples of things going wrong in my head. I just need to put it on page. We have the rest of today. It's just gone 2:40. It's just gone 2:41. The state of my mind at the moment is not making me too hopeful for this turning out coherent. But we have the rest of today. We have the rest of today. We might have tomorrow, but tomorrow is mostly gonna... I wouldn't count on it. To be clear, I wouldn't count it out either, but it's not reliable. We have crossed the 7,000 word mark. We have the plan, the outline. It's gonna go perfect. I just need to eat and to walk and just look at something other than a screen. It's almost 8 and I have an appointment today, so we're calling it quits. We're still at the chapter where Dylan finds himself pinched to the post. After that, it was supposed to be James. We have not done James. We've done a little bit of, Craig wakes up. We have not done anything with Hind. And I have a little bit that I want in the final chapter. Not as it is, because but I want to convey something of that. So even if it's not, obviously these things need to be written in some capacity, but I mean, I feel happy just kind of jumping around in it rather than doing it strictly chronologically. I'm really glad to take a break again. And I am feeling more confident in getting a third draft in. Not necessarily to expand on things or to make things better, but in any copy and paste and correct cosmetic errors, like changing Dylan calling his mum mother. It's just going to be mum. There is every chance that I'm going to regret not going back to Marjorie at the end, but I went to the repairman instead, which means the only thing we have left is just like 2 or 3 paragraphs for the final section of the shards. I don't even remember what the line was. No, I don't have the line there. And then we're done. And then I can start draft 3, which mostly is going to just be cosmetic, like I said. But I didn't expect to be able to do this today. I was hoping, but I didn't really expect it. So I have a little bit more time than I thought I would, with just cosmetic changes to make. There's more than enough time. There's Wednesday, there's Thursday. I feel like I can breathe again. It's still not going to be to the standard that I would like it, but it's better than nothing. So we have finished draft 2. We did it. We got a few thousand words in on draft 3, and then we had some technical difficulties with the charger, which still works. And the bit that's come loose looks like it should slot back in, and the cables don't look loose, and we did keep charging it in its current state. So it should be working fine, but it is nonetheless a little scary, and that's why I'm not currently working on it. It's kind of funny that this might be the first night in a while that I'm gonna actually get to sleep because of that. But it is a little bit nerve-wracking because it is the last day. I completely mucked up. I don't know why I thought Thursday was the 19th, but no, it's today. Today's the last day to get this done. And I think in my head I'm okay with that. But my new anxiety is that draft 2 came out at 8,327 words. Now, Masterclass defines the novelette as over 7,500 words, and so we are in range. But in my head, I'm stuck on the number 10,000, and so the anxiety has spiked. And also, Ellipsis allows you to download a PDF of your writing. Now, obviously, this isn't formatted like an ebook, but it's only 23 pages, and I am. Oh, that don't make me feel good either. Obviously, with the cosmetic changes, with the reworkings, that could take the current word count under what it is. And that's gonna have to be fine. That's just the way it is. I'm not gonna force the book to be longer if it doesn't need to be longer. It just is all a lot of feelings. A little bit more progress than I thought I'd made, which is good. So I had 2 hours before dinner to get some of the rewriting done, and I don't think it's going well. Well, there's still time. It's not 7 yet. We've got 5 hours. It's going slow as molasses, and I think part of that is because I've been working so much on it. More intently than I usually have been able to work on writing. And also in such a concentrated burst that I think I just have kind of run out of steam with it, which is terrible. It's the last day. We gotta get it done. It's also really, really hard to get the tone where I want it to be because this bit doesn't really lend itself to that, which there is a kind of absurdist element to it, or there should be. Kind of in a like bad shit is happening, keep calm and carry on way, which I don't like because the moment I realised that this is what the mood has to be for it to work, I was like, that's not Scottish though. That's very English. And see, even if I were willing to move it down to England and make the family English, I really just don't have any interest in that. I don't know. I'm just tired. So we're past 9 and past 5,000. I think in all we've probably lost a few more words than we have added.
So Steve, you've got a beautiful color and we need to dry it, then we need to cut it so it's easier to handle as well. So just give a
How do you feel now that you've cut your bomber aspir open?
It could have been a little bit more even.
So here we go, a postscript. I didn't think I was going to film one of these, but here we are. I am proud of finishing it, even as I know I would excoriate it as a reviewer. There's this scene where Kath is walking by, and in the background this guy just leaps down from like the landing, piggyback style onto his target's back, and I didn't nail the humour of it. And it doesn't have the satisfaction of like an action film in the sense of like mowing down faceless enemies, because there aren't enough action scenes. But it does matter because you also don't have enough of an emotional connection to kind of be a heart of the book or a focus of the book. It's just there's not enough of any of that. Implications out there, Dylan clearly cares about the fact that he's trying to take over the family by killing them with a restored heirloom, but there's not enough detail about it and not enough connective tissue to make it seem like it's being purposefully vague. The ending isn't at all what I wanted, and not to say that it contradicts like what I was planning to do, because there wasn't anything like grand enough or cohesive enough in that, but it is an ending and it feels like an ending as opposed to what I had before. And I suppose if you wanted to be more generous than I deserve, you could say it's, oh, once you've been pulled in, you're trapped. But I don't think anyone's going to pick up on that, because again, it's not substantial enough. I said before that the original plan had been romances because that can be tight and contained and it's not actiony, and I feel like that would be better in the sense that all my action scenes seem to come out the same and I never like the way that they're written. But I think, you know, I am probably dumb fuck stupid enough, even at my big age, to try and combine the two for whatever the next one is, and we're very close to the next one. It is terrifying, frankly. But you know what? We had the scene with the knife, and I'm going to hold on to that because I think that was really excellently done. Very, like a very quiet moment in amidst the horrors. But it really conveyed what I wanted it to, and it was sweet in its way. And I think it wasn't undercut or undermined too much by the fact that there wasn't really any other connective tissue beyond that one moment. And yeah, I think that was quite well done. Anyway, thank you for watching. The link to the ebook will be down below. I am, like I said, I feel very strongly about like freedom of access. It is pay what you will, so it's for free. I would not ask you to pay anything for this. So with love, I will see you next time. Bye.